got the beers? You got the hosting. All right. Everybody got your brochures? Everybody got those brochures from the beginning when you walked in? Just so everybody knows, over the last 36 hours, I have not put myself on the cover, just so everybody knows. I did not do that. I was not responsible for that. So I want to make sure everybody's saying that. I'm excited to be out here. Really excited to be in Pittsburgh. We recruit the area. We recruit Northeast Ohio. We recruit the whole state of Ohio. We recruit out this way, get into Jersey a little bit as well. We're really excited to be out this way. It's always interesting when you have the Nike clinics because you never know where you're going to go. And you kind of wait and wait. Last year, I think I was in Eugene, Oregon. I was in Washington, D.C., and Minnesota's in the middle of the country. And you always wonder where you go and why you go. But I love when we get a chance to go places that we actually recruit. You'll actually see me. You'll actually see a lot of our coaches out there. And you always have access to the University of Minnesota. So I wanted to make sure I said thank you to all of you. I was a 6th grade social studies teacher. I have an elementary education degree. I was a teacher just like a lot of you are teachers. The only thing that kind of stopped me from doing that was I got a chance to play in the National Football League. And at the time, that pays a lot more than a first-year education teacher, which you obviously know. And it wasn't a very hard decision to be able to do that. But the great thing is, when I get a chance to talk to high school coaches, is that I was on that path. And that's exactly what I was going to do. Because I felt like I could play in the NFL, but I didn't know if anybody was crazy enough to actually take a shot on me. And then San Francisco did, and I stayed there about 3 years, and then got cut, and then started my coaching career. So just a little bit about me, just so you know kind of a little bit of my background. I am 38 years old. I think that makes me now the 4th youngest head coach in the country. I'm going on my 7th year being a head football coach at the Division I level. I played at Northern Illinois University right after a stint in my high school days at Kingland High School, about 60 miles west of Chicago, about 20 miles east of DeKalb, Illinois, where Northern Illinois is. And my high school, very similar to a lot of yours, we won 2 state championships back to back. But the one thing that's really neat about our culture, what we had, and that group of guys, you all know that type of group of guys you have, and those classes you have, that you go in, and those are the special classes. We had one, and we had one that went through, won back-to-back state championships, and they haven't won it since, and didn't win it before. It was that culture, that connectivity, that right group of guys. There was only 27 guys on our high school football team, but they were really talented. Those are the same guys that went to the sectional finals in basketball, same guys that got 3rd in track, and multi-sport athletes. So I remember those days very clearly. Northern Illinois, played at Northern Illinois, again played with San Francisco 49ers for a little while, and then got into coaching. I went from coaching from Ohio State University, was my first year, went to a national championship with Jim Tressel, and I was like, this is easy. This coaching stuff, this ain't that hard. You know, you get there, you kind of get the players, you call some plays, and man, you go 12-0. Not that hard. And then we got beat by Florida, and I found out how real it gets very fast. And I still remember Jim Tressel on the headset telling me, or all of us, he wasn't telling me I was the offensive GM, nobody. But he said, guys, if we don't get this first down, the game's over. It was a 4th down play at the beginning of the 2nd quarter. And I've never heard Jim Tressel ever say that. And it really opened my eyes to a lot of different things. Left Ohio State, went to Northern Illinois, where I got a chance to coach for Joe Novak, a guy who actually coached me, did a tremendous job at that program. When we took it over, when I got there, it was a 26-game losing streak. When I left, our senior year, we beat Alabama, Maryland, Iowa State, all in the same year. We kind of set the way for that Boise State run that they had, because we went 10-2 and didn't go to a bowl game. Left Northern Illinois, and ended up going to Rutgers, which changed my life for the better. Rutgers, Greg Schiano was the greatest influence I've ever had in my entire life. Taught me how to be a man, taught me how to be able to demand for myself, not only that from the players, but I'm a different man than he is. We're 2 different people. It's just I learned a ton from him, and I grew up fast. We'll talk a little bit about this here in a second. From Rutgers, then I went down with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was a wide receiver coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I got a chance to coach Vincent Jackson, Mike Williams, both Pro Bowl receivers that year. And that was really rewarding for me, being the youngest wideout coach in the country, being able to get the respect of a lot of Pro Bowlers, which was pretty awesome to be able to coach those guys. Very humbling to be able to get those guys to buy into a culture in that wideout room that we had. And then moved down, went to Western Michigan University, 4 years as a head coach there. Just an amazing experience, taking a 1-11 program to 13-0, based on culture, based on what you teach a lot of your players. And again, I'm an elementary school teacher. You come into my office, it looks like a 6th grade classroom. This is all about education, it's all about the kids, it's all about their process of development, and we're going to hit a little bit on that as we go through the next hour. So, and now I'm the head football coach at the University of Minnesota. One thing about me you have to know as we go through this whole thing, you can ask me anything. I'm a very approachable guy. Very. Sometimes I don't know how people don't think I am, but I am. I have a lot of energy, so I move fast, so you got to get to me. Right? It's not that I'm walking away, I just move fast. That's just the way I am. But I took the job in Minnesota because my entire life I run into the fire, not away. And they had some things going on there, and I felt like that was a great challenge for me. Hadn't won a championship in 53 years. And my entire life I've been the king of the twos. Too small, too short, too dumb, too young, whatever it is, that's what I've been. And so that's what I took when I took the job at the University of Minnesota. And last year, it was all about the dig. 2 years ago, I should say, and I didn't care about wins or losses. I could care less. We're going to get the right people in the program, get the wrong people out of the program. We're not going to worry about it. I got thick skin, leather skin. People can say what they want about me. We're going to make sure we dig and build this program right. This year, we played 8 freshmen on offense, started 8 freshmen on offense in the Big Ten, and found a way to go 7-5, win our bowl game, Georgia Tech, beat Wisconsin with 8 starting freshmen, and do something that hasn't been done in 26 years by beating them in Camp Randall, and doing that with young players. And that's what culture is all about. So here's what we're going to do, if you don't mind. I love speaking at the Nike clinics because it's very personal. You're right here. This isn't an auditorium full of 500 to 600 people. We are going to be able to have interaction. You can stop me at any point. Trust me. I can move, but I can remember where I was, I promise. What I thought we would do is, yes, the brochure says wide receiver play, and that's what we're going to talk about at the beginning. And then what I thought was maybe I'll give you some culture stuff in the middle, and then at the end, we'll do some other things about things I've learned in the profession. I'll give you 3 of my favorite books that I have right now, like things like that you can take with you to actually apply to either your leadership councils, apply to your families with your wife and your kids, apply to you professionally, and because I think that's really important. Everybody comes here for the X's and O's, and I want you to have that. We're going to go over some wide receiver plays, some drills, things like that, but I really want to be able to hit some culture for all of you. A lot of you are head coaches at the high school level. You might have some cultural questions. I want you to get something out of this than just the XO part, and then I'll get into a little bit more of what I've learned in my 7 years being a head football coach, being a very young head football coach in this profession. That's full of a lot of experienced guys that have done incredible things. So I've learned a lot being around incredible people, and the reason I am where I am today is because I've been around incredible people, like all of you. The only reason why I'm here is because the people who coach me or I've coached with, that's it. My dad kills bugs for a living, my mom's a teacher's aide, and the Fleck name means you're not supposed to be successful at some point. And when you look at it, I might be one of the most successful people, if not the most successful person in my family. It's the only reason because I got myself around incredible people. So if you don't mind, that's what we'll do. And feel free to stop me at any time and ask any question whatsoever. But again, thankful to be here, and let's have fun for about another hour. Okay, we will have fun. So hopefully you have a beer under your table and you drink it. So here we go. All right, is this ready to go? Oh, one more? Okay, that's my family. We'll talk about that. That takes too much time. You don't care. Okay, that's for tomorrow. I got another speech tomorrow at 7. So here we go. We got the wide stuff first. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about wide receiver play. I played wide receiver. I've coached wide receivers my entire life. We've had incredible wide receivers come through our culture, our program. We develop receivers from the ground up. Okay? One thing about me is no matter what, if we recruit one of your receivers, we're going to break them down and build them straight back up. And we are going to get very simplistic with everything. Everything he does will be broken down to certain areas. We're not going to cover all of them tonight. Okay? If you want wide receiver play, we got one of the best wide receiver coaches in the country. His name is Matt Simon. He's turned down NFL jobs to stay, be in our culture, be with me. I coached him. He was at Northern Illinois University. When I was there, he's outstanding. Played in the NFL for the New Orleans Saints. He's developed a top 5 pick overall in the NFL draft that had no offers, and he was a 2-star athlete. Ended up being the 5th overall pick in the draft. Corey Davis plays for the Tennessee Titans, and he's put a ton of guys in the NFL, as well as our combination together. So we have a certain wide receiver philosophy. I was coached by a guy by the name of Jerry Sullivan. Some of you might know who Jerry Sullivan is. Kind of the godfather of wide receiver play in the National Football League. Just retired this year. Has done an amazing job in his entire career on wide receiver play. So we're going to hit some things that you might know, might not know. Again, when you're at a clinic, this is what I believe. This is not the Holy Grail. This isn't the only way to do something. So this is what I believe. And this is what I believe over a long period of time is exactly how I think wide receiver play should be taught. But that doesn't mean it's the only way. So I don't want anybody to be offensive if I say something you've been teaching for a long time and you're like, yeah, I don't believe in that. I believe in everything that we're talking about, and I'll tell you exactly why. Why is the #1 question your players must ask and you must answer. And you better have a really good answer these days, because they'll look it up on their phone and call you a liar to your face. Right? They can find out information way faster than you, and they get that information faster than you, so you better be accurate. All right, here we go. Let's talk a little bit about stance and start. I know, wow, stance and start. Wow, this head coach is really, really, really detailed. And man, oh my gosh, start with stance and start. You bet. Right? The stance is everything. Okay? How I teach the stance is called the 80-20. Okay? The 80-20. Now, here's what I do with our feet. Our front foot is the inside foot. Some of you teach outside foot. It doesn't matter. But we turn that, whether it's 10 or 11 o'clock, that's up to you. We actually turn our front foot. From there, our knee has to be over our toe. When the knee is over the toe, it eliminates a false step. Everybody says, how can I get my wide receiver to stop false stepping with his back foot? The knee has to be clearly in front of the toe with that lean. So we lean with the knee in front of the toe. Our nipples are at a 45-degree angle. Okay, 45 degrees, right? So we have 45-degree markers inside our wideout room to make sure that our players who are 3.20 GPA as a team still know what a 45-degree angle is. Do not take that for granted. They better know exactly what you're talking about, right? So we will teach them what 45-degree angles are, 90-degree angles are, 60-degree angles are. We actually have a session just on angles, because I think people assume these guys know the angles you talk about. Knee over the toe, nipples at a 45. The back foot is, again, pointed the same direction as the front foot. So the back foot and front foot are actually pointed at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, depending on your player and the comfort that he has. But both feet are cocked slightly to whatever side, the open side, the opposite side of your front foot. Now, with that said, as I'm sitting here in this stance, we're going to relax our arms. Now, some people teach the arms up. I'm good with that. I get it. When you watch your players, 99% of the time when the ball snapped, they take your arms from here, they go down, and then they come back up. So we keep our arms down for one particular reason. If I'm going to fight you, okay? Depends how big you are, depends on how good of a fight it's going to be. You're going to fight my ass for 24 hours, I promise them, right? So here's the thing. Would you rather have a jab, or would you rather have from here, right, some type of uppercut? You probably take the jab. Everything we do is taught by coming up, right? In terms of if I have a pressed corner, everything I do, my power is here. And I can bring my hip, my legs, my arms, everything I do with my hands from down. Remember, the ball still has to be snapped by the time then the DB's got to shoot his hand. You can get your hands up and have power with that to get wrists or whatever you teach. You can have that by your arms hanging low down to your side. Okay? So, we talked about 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock angle, just depends. If my right foot's up, it's at 11 o'clock. If my left foot's up, it's at 1 o'clock. Right? Talked about that. The knee in front of the toe is everything. Let your arms hang. Okay? Our lift drill. Okay? Here's what a lift drill is. We just get in a stance, and we're just going to lift our back foot. Okay? To make sure that our knee is in front of our toe. What does that look like? I'm here, my knee's in front of my toe. I'm going to take my back leg, and I'm going to be able to pick it up and put it back down without my weight transferring back. What does 80% feel like? 80% feels like when I pick my back leg up, my body doesn't move. That's 80%. Because again, you can tell kids 60-40, 70-30, 90-10. Well, what the hell does that mean? They don't know. So, how does 80% feel? You pick your back leg up, and nothing rocks on your body. Okay? You don't sway back, forward or back. Okay, so that is what 80-20 looks like. Right? Now, that will eliminate the false step. There are times that back foot is only going to take a 3 to 4 inch step, which we'll get to here in a little bit. Okay, but that is our stance, and then we do our normal stance and starts like everybody else. Okay, but that's what the stance looks like. Okay, let's move on. Everybody good with that? That's a stance. Simple as that. Okay, now let's move into a few things. We break wide receiver play down into a few things, right? Whether it's break points, whether it's blocking, separation skills, upper body, lower body for the releases part. The whole wide receiver play gets broken down into about 6-7 categories, but from there, we're only going to pull about 2 or 3 to talk to about tonight. Stance is one of them. Now we're going to get into break points. We teach routes, yes. Do we have route trees? Yes. But what we teach is break points on the routes. We have 6 total break points. We perfect and drill and teach the break point. Every route, how it's drawn as a break point. Okay? And everything means something. Okay? So how you draw something on your play cards, how you draw something on your playbooks should tell that wideout exactly what break point that is. And then you train the 6 break points over and over and over and over. And that's how you get the guy to be a really good route runner. Not to run a really good curl, it's to run a really good tight break. Because when you run a tight break, you can run an 18-yard curl, 14-yard curl, 10-yard curl, whatever it is. You can run that break. You can run an outside hook, right? You can do that if you train the break points. So let's talk a little bit about this. Okay, first, when we're talking about actual break points, here's one of them. The first one is a drop pop. Okay, now, when we teach a break point, we have a series of progressions. We do a walk, then we do a jog, then we do a sprint. Everything is broken down that way. Remember, 6th grade elementary school teacher. Take something and break it down into the simplest form. So, here for us, we always have a lower body. There's always a drake or a drop, break, drive, line, foot. No matter what. So when you're breaking things down, there's always a drop foot. Somehow, some way. Okay? That means my weight has to come down at some point when I'm going to run a break point. So there is a drop foot where it naturally has to be, no matter what, I can't drop my weight until that foot is in the ground. There is a drop foot to that. Then there is a break foot. A break foot stops you from going one direction and doesn't do anything else. It stops you from going one direction. That's called a break foot. A drive foot gets you going the opposite direction as fast as you can. And then a line foot sets the line and the angle that you actually come out as. So again, your players have to be able to see that. We don't teach chops. Right? Chop it up at the end of the break point. We don't teach that. We're designing really healthy, really good route runners. So, that is what we talk about. We have a drop pop, right, which is a hitch and a hinge. A lot of you have hits, stops, things like that. We have a speed cut, which are for quick outs, ins, right, big digs, where you're running tons of speed and you got to stick your foot in the ground and go and speed cut. We have a speed drop, which we'll get to, maybe not even tonight, but it means you're actually going to drop before that break point of the speed cut. We have a vertical break point. Yes, we teach how to run vertical break points. Vertical. We teach somebody how to run a go route, how to go with the release. There's a lot of integral parts of a go route that a lot of people don't teach. It's not just run by. We'll get to that. Lower, we have a force arm and a balance arm. Here's what this means. When I'm out of a break point, whichever direction I'm going, that is the force arm. That's where my power is. When people sit there and say, hey, you didn't come out of that break with any power, but probably their inside arm or the arm to the direction of where they're going probably stopped. So if I'm going to run a curl that way, and I get to the top of the break point, this, going this way, this is called my force arm. So if you see a guy who doesn't come out of his breaks forcefully, that right arm or that left arm that he's doing, that direction he's going, is probably down. It's probably outside. It's not tight to his body. It doesn't pull him out of that. If a player drifts out of a route, his balance arm, meaning his outside arm, is probably dead. You can't sit there and coach a kid and say, that route sucked. No kidding. That's not coaching. Catch the ball. That's not coaching. Right? We have to make sure we teach our players. We're all educators in here. Teach exactly what you want and make sure you get it. But you've got to label things. So the outside arm is the balance arm. The outside arm determines, the balance arm determines if this is a tight break right back to the quarterback, or if I get to this point and all of a sudden I die and then I got to go this way before I get back to the quarterback. That helps. Balance arm prevents drift. Force arm, power out. Balance arm, make sure I don't drift. Okay? So, let's talk about these. We'll talk about the drop pop. That's what it looks like. It's a hitch. Great coach taught us how to run a hitch. The drop pop, we run it off our second inside foot. Okay, what does that mean? Our second inside. So if I got this foot up, ball's inside, I'm going to get to my second inside foot before I do anything. I'm going to run as fast as I can off the ball until my second inside. 1, okay, 2, now this one drops. It drops my weight. What does it look like when I drop my weight? It should look like I'm in my stance. Should look almost similar, almost identical to that. My nipples are at a 45 when I drop my weight. Not here. Women's center of gravity is in their hips. Men's center of gravity is in their shoulders. Okay? So, wherever my shoulders go, my weight will go. People that throw their bodies this way, how can I, first of all, stop myself from going that way as fast as I can? Second of all, get going that way as fast as I can. So I got to now come back up here first to even get back to my nipples at a 45. Okay? It's all about center of gravity and balance. So when I get to my second inside, that's my drop foot. And then this one is very easy because I'm not going that fast. It is just a break foot. Turns at a slight 45, and then I pop up. Okay? Very similar, very simple. Very, very simple route. I know it's simple, but that's what we do. So we walk it, literally. Second inside, drop pop. Second inside, drop pop. Okay? So we just walk it. Then we'll jog it. Okay? Pretty good route right here. Just in terms of jogging it, they got to feel it. There's the drop. Nipples at a 45. You can see almost his knee almost in front of his toe. And then the break foot, and it pops him straight up. Now at this point, I can now break back to the quarterback when I see the ball. The way we decided, we should have to step back to the football. Ball should be on us immediately when we turn around. Okay? And then we actually run it. Every route, break point we do. We walk, jog, run. We walk, jog, run. The break point. Okay? I think this is one from a freshman up top. Second inside, drop pop. That's a drop pop break point. Okay? Very simple. Right now, speed cut. Speed cut is like you're walking around a corner. Not very difficult, right? But here's what we talk about. We literally take our kids and we walk. Same thing. We have a break foot. There is no drop on the speed cut. The speed cut, the break, and the drop foot are identical. Okay? So, because I am going to run very fast. This is what it looks like. Anything with the circle at the very end of it, that means it's a drop pop break point. Anything with this type of speed round, where I have 2 yards to make that cut, 2 to 2.5, I call it a speed cut. Okay? We call it a speed drop, where it's an 18-yard dig, where I might have to drop my inside foot first. We put a little squiggly line there to make sure they understand that it's a speed drop. Big difference. Way more speed built up. Okay? But we got a speed cut here. We walk, jog, run it. It's the third inside. Okay? The third inside if we're running an out-breaking route. Okay? The third inside step. So it's our third, we count inside steps for us. There's times in certain routes we'll count an outside step, depending on what it is. Okay? But our speed cut is this, just like walking around a corner. So we literally have our guys walk around a corner. What we talk about is, again, the drop foot and the break foot are identical. They're all part of one. The next foot is the most important foot. The drive foot of a speed cut. Right here, this one. So when I stick that foot in the ground and I start to come out, that is my drive foot. Because my break and my drop foot already happened. My next foot is called the drive foot. It gets me going a different direction. The big thing that young kids do is take that drive foot and cross the midline of their body. That's when you see all the kids fall down. So when they drop, again, boom, it gets slightly outside of my body, my knee is inside my ankle, my hip is inside my knee, and I push off of that. It's again, nipples at a 45. And as I come out, force arm, balance arm are pumping. But now this drive foot cannot cross my midline. If it stays below my break foot, I'll be able to get out of that naturally, and by my next step, that line foot should be able to take me friendly. Remember, break, drive, line. Break foot stops me going one direction, drive foot gets me going another direction, and then my line foot actually gets me friendly as fast as it possibly can. Okay? We'll jog it. And that's the biggest key, right there. There's the break foot, there's the drive foot. It cannot cross that midline. This is when we first got there. These guys were not very good at that. We'll show some pretty good ones. And then we run it. And you can see his weight come down. Inside foot doesn't cross the midline. Head is the last thing that comes around. The biggest misconception that we have a saying we call never wait late. Outside breaking routes. Any ball, comebacks, outs. Outside breaking routes. We say never wait late. Circle back. And this is an example of almost a half circle. When I come out of that, that ball's out on my eye. Now it's responsible for me to circle back. Most big plays on speed cuts happen when the ball's late. He's breaking on a hip. And now I circle back inside of him and there's all this empty space. Never wait late, circle back. Okay? But the biggest thing for young people is, how do they cross their midline with their drive foot? They stick their brake foot in the ground and boom, their head comes around. That will naturally have my drive foot cross my midline. On the speed cut, the head is the last thing that should ever come around. The head is always, on any break point, the last thing that will come around. Where your head goes, your shoulders will go. Remember, we talked about it all being in line. If my hips are still going this way, but my head's going this way, there's no way I can get out of that break point the most efficient way possible. The head is always the last thing to come around. You see all those guys that get their head around and they just keep drifting up the field, and you're like, man, you got to get out of that. Well, their head came out way too early. Okay? All right, moving on. We have another one down here. Just like walking around the corner. Body language doesn't change ever until the brake foot hits the ground. Okay, vertical. Now, here we go. When you're running a vertical route, there's a lot of components to a vertical route that a lot of people don't teach. They say get vertical. That's not what we teach. Can you go back to that real quick, please? The first part of this is there's a release factor. Release factor is everything, obviously. Got to release first. Then there's what we call the vertical express step. That is going to make sure that once I release that defender and I've got his hands off, once my next outside foot hits, this is the one that propels me forward. Remember, I've got to win and release the defender before I can ever win in the route. Period. Right? So, there's a vertical express step we'll see. Then we call a meat grinder. The meat grinder is your inside arm pumping as hard as you can. When the wideout takes his inside hand and touches the DB, DB wins. Always. That has my shoulders open. Now I've left a target for him to be able to lean, locate, and now I get squeezed out of bounds. Or I've left an area for his hand to come up, pop the ball out. So again, we call it a meat grinder. The harder I pump my inside arm, the harder it is for him to grab anything. We always talk about meat grinder. Hand goes in there, gets chopped up to gravy meat gravy, whatever. Hold the line. Now I got to hold the line with everything vertical, but my chin. Holding the line and pumping my arms with the meat grinder keeps me in a direction. I look with my chin, not my shoulders. Once I give the chest to the defender, it's over. Look with your chin, keep it low, and then I can catch the ball over my shoulder. Once the ball passes my eyes, I'm screwed. What does that mean? This is my outside eye. Ball's being thrown from over here. The minute that ball gets past this line, my arm becomes really long and this one becomes really short. Everybody see that? So I do not want to catch the ball. Everybody says catch it over your outside shoulder. There are times we have to do that. It's the only option. But in the real world, I want to be able to catch a vertical straight out in front of me, not past my outside eye. When it gets out here, I got a problem with my arm length. And it's very difficult for young people to be able to match all that up. So again, keep the ball inside my outside eye, but it can be on my outside eye. Anything outside of that, very, very difficult to actually catch. And that's what we're talking about with the vertical route. So what does this all look like put together? Okay, remember, release, vertical express, meat grinder, hold the line. This is our vertical express release type drill. This is Daniel Braverman, who was drafted by the Bears. He's got his inside foot up. He sticks his outside foot in the ground, and he sheds at the same time, because that's what a DB is going to do. Once you go a certain direction, bang, hand on the shoulder pad. We're going to shed, we're going to drop our weight, and that outside foot's going to vertically express us vertical. And now, I've got to be able to win his hip. And that's where the meat grinder comes into play. A quick shed, vertical express. The shed, this is the Corey Davis kid, plays for the Titans now. There's a vertical express step, should be in the exact same time as the shed. And it's quick. It's quick, explosive, and low. And now I can run vertical. Okay, now, here's it kind of put together. Here's a little bit of the release. There's the left vertical express step right there. And now he goes vertical. We do a lot of our releases with the DBs in between lines, right? 5-yard lines. They've got to stay within that. There's the vertical express step on the outside, and you can see him win the hip. You can see once that outside foot hits, he's now got to be able to get vertical. Same thing. Caught on his outside eye, not outside his outside eye. Big difference. All right, here's one more. Cool. What I hit? Cool. Sorry, Matt. Hit advance. I don't like those little color things over there. Right there. That's his vertical express. There's the vertical. There's the meat grinder. You can see right here, DB tries to put his hand on Corey Davis. Corey Davis isn't worried about the defender. It's not about him. It's about my route. Wideouts always have to know I'm not beating the DB. I'm running my route. But first things first, I have to win and perfect my release, depending on where he is, which we'll get to here in a second, of how to be able to do that. Caught over the outside eye. Watch him control his body right here. Watch him slow down. Last thing he wants to do in a ball that's in the air that's short is to be able to open everything. Just slow your body down, keep your shoulders square, and be able to keep the defender at bay and catch the ball with your outside shoulder. That's controlling the route from start to finish. Takes a lot of practice to be able to do that. Here's one again in the bowl games. Tyler Johnson, leading receiver in the Big Ten. We'll talk about that release in a second. There's a vertical express step. It doesn't care if you beat him by 5 yards. There's 5 yards in between them. He puts his vertical express step, sets the line for the quarterback. Watch this. Slows down again. Ball caught over his outside eye. He didn't sit here right at this point. I got to beat, balls underthrown, and stop and turn. He slowed, kept his shoulders vertical, kept him on his back and go. How many of you watch basketball or coach basketball and you watch those guards dribble into the trees and they keep the guy as they go? They have some space and they close the space and get on the defender and then separate towards the rim. Great point guards do that. It's the exact same thing when they're running wide out deep routes. DB can do nothing about it. Okay? All right. So, there's a few break points. Okay? We won't get into all the other ones. We have a drive in, drive out. There's a comeback. Right? We have the speed drop. I can go in and if you want to learn about more of them, come see us. The release part I think is really important for all of us to understand. Okay? The release part. We teach releases. But here's what we do when we teach releases. We cut the body in half. There's an upper teaching of what we do, and then there's a lower teaching of what we do. We slice the body directly in half. Upper body, I don't teach a lot of stuff with punch and rip. We use a wiper system. It's way more efficient. It's way easier. I'm just telling you. And you can get production out of your wideouts fast. Okay? Whether it's a one-arm wiper, two-arm wiper, it can turn into a shock and shed. We'll get to all that. But we maximize the surface area. We talk about the wipers, meaning this. Fingers up, elbows down. So when I'm in my stance and I'm getting ready to release, when I come forward, boom, I'm in this position. And as I take my half steps, this is the position I'm going to be in. Depending on where the DB is, I might only need one before I get to my vertical express step. I might only need one wiper. But I protect myself and I wipe. The days I think it's so hard, especially at the high school level, when you teach find the wrist, hit the wrist, take this, punch it through, holy crap. I can't remember when I ever did that. Ever. It was just get his hands off and go. Right? So the wiper system teaches you something. But it's not about extending it. My elbows have to be down, my fingers have to be up when I'm doing it. This is what the wiper system looks like. Right? And it looks like a bunch of karate as we do our drills. Maximize the surface area over club. Maximize power, DB's wrist, not elbow or shoulder. Okay? Maximizes, and we're hitting the wrist when we wipe it. But listen, when I'm not aiming for a little piece, I used to teach this when I was a young coach, right? That I had to grab the wrist and then punch through and do these other things. But as a player, I never necessarily did that. It was so hard to get Charles Woodson's wrist. His wrist is like that big. And there was no way I was going to get him. 6'2", 6'3" corner, and here I am. Okay, can you show me your wrist, Charles? He's sitting in his stance calling me Harry Potter. Like he's actually going to be able to actually show me his wrist. Right? right? So we did something to maximize that, meaning this: if I have wipers, and if I'm not perfect, look at the surface area that I have. If I miss, my shoulders never move. When I take this and I miss, my shoulder comes with. This is a powerful ability to get hands off, to be able to still get vertical and get into running motion faster than taking my shoulders, where all my center of gravity is, and exposing that with a miss. That is why we went to more of a wiper system. And it's way more effective and way more efficient, because no matter where the DB puts his hands on my chest, if he gets there, the wipers take care of that surface area. Your wipers on the car, it doesn't matter where the rain dots are, as long as they're in the surface area of the wiper, they're going to get the drop off. It's not like they go like this. They wipe. Same thing with our hands. Yes, sir?
So you got to keep your feet moving with your hands, or it's useless.
Your feet, yes. Yeah, all we're doing right now, we cut the body in half. We're going to talk about that, because then we put them together. But when we drill it, we do a lot of things separately, right? We do a lot of our hand combat, we do a lot of our taekwondo, we do a lot of our stuff, but individually, right? Take it, cut it in half, drill it, then put it all together. Just like we did our break points, right? We walked it. You know, we don't walk into practice, we don't walk in a game, but we walk it, get the feel of it, drill it in a jog a little faster, then put it all together. All right, good question though. All right, so here's what it looks like. You can see fingers are up and elbows are down. Right? You can see his shoulders are vertical, and now it gives him the chance for the vertical express step to go. Once the defender misses, now he's stuck into his body. Now he's got to get into sprint mode immediately. He has no more time with his hands. No more time. A lot of times when you do get that wrist and you're here and you grab it, now all of a sudden he's still got that other hand, and if she's stronger than you, no matter how weak that wrist is, it's still pretty strong. This allows me to come up and through at a very strong angle, but still be able to be efficient with my hits. Even if I'm not perfect, I still get it off. You can see him being put in that position. Here's another angle. Oh, missed that one. This is a one-arm wiper. That's it. Right? Because again, our feet, as we go, here's what your question earlier was about our feet. When we get to our feet, we're going to teach you how to be able to maximize your leverage based on where the defender is. If we have a defender that's inside, we have a certain technique, period. That's all we teach. If he's head up, there's only one technique our players can use until they earn the leverage with me that they've matured, like that little white kid you saw in there. By his junior year, he could do whatever he wanted at the line of scrimmage and nobody could touch him because he had so much in his Rolodex. But again, head up, there's a certain technique. Outside, there's a certain technique. So it doesn't matter, they're trained with 3 techniques in press. Lower body, if that's where they line up, this is what you do. Because you're, again, attacking technique. And there's no way, based on the leverage they play, they'll be able to even get close to you. We're taking their leverage away, right? But again, this is part of the wipers. Here's another one from Demetrius Douglas, freshman. And you can see, look at how powerful those wipers are. Okay? Ty Johnson, again, number 6, he's really talented. And look how, you don't ever have to worry about shoulders turning, you don't have to worry about all that. Fingers up, elbows down, eliminate the hand and go. Okay? This is a shock technique by a defender. 2 hands to the chest. Straight up, get the hands off and go. Okay? All right, we're good. We're good with that. Okay, now, that literally, that is our upper body releases. And that is what Corey Davis broke every receiving record there was in college football history. He's the leader in catches, touchdowns, and yards at Western Michigan University in the history of college football. And he continued to create separation. Any team we played just couldn't stop him, couldn't cover him. They couldn't win at the line of scrimmage. Now, cut the body in half. Wipers upper body. Lower body, now here we go. If a defender is inside leverage, 2 to 3 halves is what comes into play. That's what we call it. So here's what we do. I have a press defender, and he's inside leverage. Ball's over there. He's inside lever, I'm sorry. Ball's over there, he's inside. He's to my up foot. He's sitting right here, meaning he's giving me all the outside. When we talk about two halves, we're going to take our back foot and move it first. However tight he is depends on how far the back foot actually moves. So if he's giving me a little space, I'm going to move that foot almost to parallel with this foot. I am almost going to be able to come to balance, but I don't want to come. Half steps mean I take that back foot and I do not get in front of my front foot. Half means half. It does not cross into one full step. What is one full step? When that full step comes in front of the front foot. So literally it looks like this. This is a half step. That's a half step. We are going to load our front foot from there. Here, and then it's going to be a slide step. It's not a step. Shoulders are square, hips slide. I go from low to lower. My knee is inside my ankle, my ankle's inside my ankle's inside my knee, my knee's inside my hip. I bend, my foot's outside of all of it, and then I can come back inside. It's like a pro skater. All the drills we do pre-practice is all bounding with our wideouts. All bounding, all skiing exercises, downhill skier things, okay? To be able to have our hips sink in everything we do. But it is a slide, not a step. So it's one half, and then this is another 6-inch step. And now I have power. Nipples are still at a 45-degree angle. I can wipe, I get to my vertical express step and go. I have to be able to show my body move that direction. If I'm going to basketball and I'm going to cross somebody over, I don't do this. Or step this way. They cross over by this. It's the same thing. I'm going to slide. Once he feels that, the whole body slide with their hips moving that way, he'll move. Okay? That is called two halves. Now, if I do two halves, I'm here and he jumps outside, I do another half slide, and then I go inside. That's all it is. So if I have an inside defender, we call it halves. Our back foot will move first. What does that look like? Okay? We drill it, we walk it. Half, half. Half, half. Get around some of these. That front foot came forward. This is Corey. Load the front foot, get vertical. Half step, watch his hips. Is there going to be contact? You bet. All I got to do is get that weight for that corner on that foot. I need the foot to load on his outside foot. There's weight to load on his outside foot. Half, half. Now, the big thing you have to be aware of is to make sure they don't jump. It's got to be a step, step. It's got to be a half, half. And then I can move. Okay? Here's an example of it. And that's all I need. Now again, I get in this position, we go back to our upper body, right? We just go right back to our wipers. Three halves, same thing, they just take away the inside. Now right here is vertical express steps pretty bad, right there. Get that foot in the ground, you should be vertical now. But you can see the half steps with the movement with the wipers all put into one. Close corner. But watch his hip go low to lower, right there. That one step here, that he goes low to lower, gets the weight on the outside foot of the defender, and now you can have a cleaner release. Less power to fight through. These are all freshmen on this deal, except number 6. Look at the wipers. That's all that was needed. Right foot vertical express, separate at the top of the route. That's a true freshman from Georgia. He's close to 60 catches. That's a true freshman this year. Okay, everybody got it? Okay, now, moving on to one more thing, and then we're going to get into some culture stuff. Okay, now, we talk about a defender inside. Now let's talk about a defender head up to outside. We call it a stretch technique. Okay, so if we got a defender head up to outside, no matter what, they go into what we call stretch technique, unless the route calls for stems, right? Stem four, stem digs, things like that. Okay, so immediately I got somebody head up. Everybody put your hand up like this, like you're going to swear in somebody. 90-degree angle, straight up. Okay, put your other one up. That's all we do. Okay, we are going to attack this hand. Whether it's press or whether it's off, we are going to attack that hand. What does that mean? If we have somebody, Matt, come up here, please. So let's say Matt is off of me right now. Okay, but he's head up to outside. Put your right hand up. When that ball is snapped, my nose is going to go right to that hand. Because a lot of times, this is how people play cover two. They sit and catch. And I still remember when I was a young wide receiver, one of the wide receiver coaches that coached me in college sat there and said, "Hey, you gotta get off that press, man!" And of course, I was a senior by then, and I felt like I was somebody. And I said, "Well, teach me!" I'd never been taught how to get off press until I got to the NFL. Then Jerry Sullivan just made everything slow down because it was simplified. Right? Everybody teaches all these things. We simplified it, and then you could use your own creativity in the mix. When the ball snapped, I'm going to go right at that hand. Now, as the closer I get to that hand, if he doesn't move, I won the leverage. I am going to slide step when I get to the hand, and then vertical express and go. I'm going to freeze him once I get to him. It's just a hard jab inside, outside foot, vertical release, go. So, back up. Right there, stop. Okay. Ball snap, here I come. I'm running at the swearing hand, run the swearing hand. He doesn't move. I sink, I freeze him, I get the weight on his outside foot, boom, outside step and go. Be ready for wipers. If he does move, and I attack that swearing hand, keep going. Keep getting till I step on his toes, keep going. Now I've got him leaning, now I can rip back through inside. But the swearing hand, if I run at the shoulder, the DB will never move. If I run at his shoulder, put your hand down. If I run right at his shoulder, I'm running right into the web. And now I have no leverage. So now all of a sudden he gets his hands on me, and now we got this cover two thing where he turns out, pushes me, and now I can't get off. Create the leverage immediately. Nothing changes if it's press. Turn that way. Go that way. And come, turn around. He played hockey, just so everybody understands. He's from Alaska. Put your swearing hand up. Now, nothing changes, but it's in way tighter form. So now I've got to use almost my half steps and half step to the swearing hand with smaller steps. So when that ball snaps, boom, I'm here. My nose got to be right at that hand right now. And now, if he doesn't move, hard jab inside, gone. But I got to get my nose to the swearing hand now. Remember, it's head up to outside. It shouldn't be that hard. If he's outside, that shouldn't be that hard either. All I'm going to really do is take one hard step, get him leaning, then I can go back inside. He's already given me that leverage. If I need a little bit more, I need more. But you can see it happen like this too. Put your hand up. Now you widen a little bit with me. Widen a little bit with me. Now I slip him back inside. If he doesn't, I freeze him, go outside. If he keeps doing it, I take two more steps, and then I work back inside. Here's what it looks like. Thank you, Matt. That was tremendous. This is the normal drill. You take a cone so they can see it, hold it up, I run at it, he doesn't move, hard jab inside, and go. Attack the swearing hand. Attack the swearing hand, and name it. Call it something. Get him off of his rocker. Here's an example. And this is where the DBs get in trouble with our defenses. I'm sitting there teaching the technique where they should never be touched, and then I'm turning right back around and yelling at the DBs to make sure they get their hands on the receivers. Even though I'm a wide-out guy, I just kind of snicker to myself like they're never going to touch me. Right? Just rip the DB guy. How come you can't stop us? Just typical football stuff. Here's an example. Tack the square in hand, hard set inside, go. Great thing about here is, watch his back shoulder turn back to the quarterback. People say, how do I get my wideouts to be friendly? See his shoulders right now? Now watch when the ball comes. Watch his outside arm, his balanced arm, pull himself back to the quarterback. That's how you get somebody to come down the line friendly. Okay? Okay? Now here's what press stretch looks like. Here's the shed. Vertical express step, all that coming into play. You're not going to have, when you create angles like this, you're not going to have anybody hung up. Right? Now, they might get their hands on us at times, but now I'm in a position where I can dip my shoulder and still get vertical, and now use my route like that to go from inside, have a inset, and then get back to the outside. Wide out running routes is all about patience. Elite wideouts have patience. They don't panic. It's actually a pretty good job by the DB. I'm pumping my arm, I got a meat grinder, ball's underthrown, now I come back for the back shoulder. Look at his face mask, it's already outside. Look at that. He's already got his leverage back. All right, last thing. What time am I at? 30 minutes left. Okay. I'll just teach you this. We won't get into the ball drills. If you want the ball drill sent to you, have to have Matt Childers. He'll give you his email. Oh, you have cards? Okay. We have hundreds of ball drills we do with all of our players. A lot of hockey drills, and that's the truth. A lot of goalie drills hockey players use, goalies use. I'm huge into hockey, not as huge as him, but hand-eye coordination stuff for your players, okay? I'll give you one of those before we leave so you know it, and then we'll go. Now, I don't teach the diamond, just so everybody knows, right? I teach the U. Here's why. When you have the U, you'll notice everything's compact inside. My elbows are where? Down or out? Down. When I go to my diamond, where do my elbows go? Out. Now, here's why. Everything about catching the football out in front of you is about shock absorbers. Okay, now, with the diamond, my hands naturally don't go this way. It gets tight inside, and as they open, they separate. Okay? Everybody, you can do that. Don't worry, you can do that. They're not going to make fun of you. Buy a beer later. Come on, Getsy. Right? So, you do this, and it comes apart. Now, naturally, my elbows don't go that way, and when they do, it separates to my body. There's nothing else to absorb it than my chest. When you hear hard hands, their elbows are out. A lot of you hear smacking the hands. Watch, their elbows are out. When their elbows are in, my hands naturally go like this. Easy back, but they don't separate. And my fingers are getting closed anyway, so I have a chance to make it. My elbows are natural shock absorbers with my shoulders. And now you hear that more of the catches, the cup catches, because it's in the cup of my hand. Okay? So that's what we're talking about in terms of catching the football. Same thing with a low ball. If the guys are bending at their waist, they're going to smack their hands. You're going to hear a loud smack. Why? Because I can't bend anything else. When I bend my knees to go in, now I have bent elbows, my pinkies are together, and now I have natural shock absorbers with my elbows and my shoulders again. So again, we teach pinky to pinky, yes, but bend to the knees. Pinky to pinky, bend to the knees. No bending over, bend to the knees. And then also the U, and that's why we teach that. Something you can take, maybe you like it, maybe you don't, maybe you think it's just complete talk. Okay, I do want to show you a few things though. These are the bricks. We have all types of things. I do want to show you the slap shot stuff. Can you get to the slap shot stuff, the hockey stuff, some of the hockey stuff? This one's awesome. I think this is really important for you. Okay? See it? Slap shot, all the way down towards the bottom. All right, here, juggling. You got to be able to juggle. We juggle off the wall, right? You got to be able to juggle to play for me, and we juggle every day. Okay? So You got to be able to juggle. You got to be able to juggle and move. These are the things I want to show you for the hockey stuff. This is for Matt Childers here. This is why he comes. So here you go. The closer to the wall you get, the harder it gets. Some of you might have already seen this before. The farther away you get, the easier it is. The guy stands behind with 3 balls, or how many balls you have, and he just shoots them right behind him, off the wall. The player can't see it until the ball hits the wall, boom, then it catches on the opposite side. Now, 2 hands have to go catch the ball. Some guys are going this. That's not cheating. 2 hands have to go. Now, they're showing for drill purposes, but we rocket that ball off that thing, okay? This is Corey Davis doing it, very close to the wall. These are our facilities in Western Michigan. Look like some of yours. 13-0 though, boys, so don't let the facilities hold you back. It's all about culture. Remember, 2-star, no offer, $29 million. Oh, all right, good. All right, now here's the same thing, but it's at an angle. He can't see him. It's peripheral vision. The ball comes in at one angle, and then changes course as it crosses his body. Okay? So again, you do it for both angles. Now, they're being very nice to each other. I do not do this when I coach them. Okay? I said, boys, get down there and show them some slap shots for a drill tape. They obviously think drill should be slowed down. And he should be further back. He shouldn't see you. Okay? Everybody got it? All right, now if you want the rest of it, it's a huge ball drill tape. Our players do it every day. It's a huge routine for about 25 minutes. I have to be able to do it. All right. Okay, we're going to transition a little bit now into some culture. Is that okay with you? Everybody okay? We take a deep breath. No. We're already sleeping. All right. Okay. Thank you. Okay, a cup of water. All right, here we go. Here's our culture, okay? This is what it's named. Okay, the hyperculture. All right? This is something that I invented. This is something that I felt like nobody in college football can name their culture. So it says, tell me about your culture. Well, this is our core value. This is what we do. We name it. It's called the hyperculture. Now, what does it stand for? It stands for how, yours, process, result, response, okay? Everything we do, there's an action, reaction, same thing, but everything we do in our program, it starts with the H, then it goes to the Y, then the P, then the R, and the R. What does that mean? The how is the people. Okay, now, when we recruit, we want heart, spirit, unconquerable will, people that have a burning desire inside like me. You do not have to be like me, personality-wise. You do not have to even like me, but we can connect based on how we sacrifice for each other. Okay? I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to respect, have people respect the job we do. Love is sacrifice. I'm here to be loved by all my players. Maybe not liked, but loved by all of them. Because I'm going to sacrifice for them, they're going to sacrifice for our program and our culture. But the how is your journey. It's your story. It's what got all of you to where you are. My journey, my story is how I got there. My how is powerful. My how didn't quit. My heart, my spirit, my unconquerable will, the crack on my shoulder, not a chip. That's the type of people that play for me. If you don't love your life academically, athletically, socially, spiritually, or you don't love your life professionally or personally, you will not like me and you will never get me. You won't understand how I think. You won't understand my energy. You won't understand my direction. Those are the people that I want to have in our program. Our starting receiver is from Georgia, had 30 offers, had Georgia, and picked us. All the way up there in the north, and now he is an all Big Ten freshman team. Our starting right tackle, 6'9", 400 pounds, true freshman, Daniel Fa'alele from Australia. He picked Minnesota over everyone else. And he started as a true freshman. Is going to be a first-round draft pick in 2 years. Our starting right guard lost his father, needed a father figure. Him and I were like this. Nobody else could do that. All the SEC offers, ACC offers, they want him as a football player. I wanted him as a man. And now he's like my son. Starting right guard, true freshman. Left tackle, same thing, freshman. Our quarterback, freshman. Just beat Wisconsin. Did something nobody else could do in 15 years. True freshman, or redshirt freshman, did it. At 6 foot, 200 pounds. With not a very strong arm. But the best leader I've ever been a part of. Maybe. Kid in Western Michigan's better at this point. But Tanner's better at this point than he was as a freshman. And Zach Terrell, Western Michigan, won the Campbell Trophy his senior year. And he threw 27 interceptions his first year. We didn't turn the ball over his senior year until the 8th game of the year. Process that for a minute. We're 13-0, we're 8-0. We had not turned the ball over yet. That's a kid who failed enough to become successful. And that's a kid who's all in on anything that he's doing. That's the type of how that we want. The unconquerable will, the non-quitters. I don't understand quitting and I don't get it. So quitting people will never understand ever. And we're going to be like oil in the water. The yours is the vision. Okay, so first of all, you got to evaluate your people. Your coaches, I don't hire a coach unless he's been fired for the most part. I have for others, but most of the time I want coaches who've been fired because they've got back up. First question I ask most coaches is, when did you get fired? And why'd you get fired? They're sitting there thinking, well, if there's a problem, I'm thinking, no, coach, here's the deal. I said, oh, it's a good thing, man. Tell me why I got fired, and I want to hear the good parts. They're looking at it all crazy like I'm nuts. But again, the people have to fit your vision. We said we want to win a Big Ten championship and a national championship in Minnesota. People look at me like 8 heads. They look at me like I'm nuts. Because again, they don't think at that level. But if we follow our certain process and we get the right people, we will do it. It's just a matter of time. But the yours is your vision. You are the vision of your program, of your room. You are. So our row the boat hyperculture is our culture. Culture means connecting people. That's it. I came to change the culture in Minnesota. Meaning, the way we define change is truthful listening with connecting people. That's change culture. Those are the two definitions put together. Truthful listening while changing people. Connecting people. Think about that for a second. I didn't sit there and say we're changing tradition. Sky Yama's in the same logo as Row the Boat. But Row the Boat is now. Tradition is what happened. Tradition's past. We are the culture that's going to connect the tradition from then till now. The culture's got to do that. So when I sit there and say we're changing our culture every day, that's what I mean. We're connecting people differently than other people do. That's not right or wrong, it's just how we do it. You're going to connect people different than I am, and you're going to connect different people different ways that I do. So your vision isn't about just your message. Our vision isn't about row the boat. That is one saying created by one man. But now hopefully all you know what row the boat is. Or at least have heard of it. Because it's about messengers. Are your players speaking the same language, spreading the same message as you are? Can they define what your culture is? Can they define and talk about you? Can they define and talk about their teammates? Can they define and talk about the actual culture you have? Do they have that vision in your room and as a head coach? If you're a wideout coach, can they talk about the culture you have inside your room? Does it strictly, does it influence and directly reflect the head coach's message? Because you are a messenger of the head coach. The head coach is only as strong as his messengers. I've been blessed with so many amazing coaches, and I lose a lot of them a year because I hire young. I want the young and hungry, breed them up. I mean, Neil Brown just took my DB coach. I get the young ones, boom, grow them up, give them miracle grow, and get them out. My coordinators keep them experienced. And then I get those young, hungry young guys that want to make a name. And my DB coach I just hired, never been a full-time coach. He had it. I interviewed 7 DB coaches. 6 of them had full-time jobs in Power 5 and some Group of 5. He was the best one. So he's a quality control coach in Oregon. Hired him. It's easy. Brilliant guy. So again, it's about the messengers that are all in on your culture. If you have divide, you have a problem. Okay? So you have this how and you have this vision. Okay? Then you have to go to work. Okay? And the process is the work. Now the reason why I called it this is because this is the hype. Everybody says don't believe the hype. Well, the hype is either two things. The hype in your culture is either real or BS. It's nowhere in between. So when people say don't believe the hype, I think believe the hype. If it's real, believe it. If it's bold, don't believe it. But if you have the right people working on the right vision, those unconquerable will, working on that crazy ass vision that you have, your process, your work is going to look really good. Now what is the work? It's the who, what, where, when, why, how of anything you do. How many of you brushed your teeth today? I know your wives aren't here, so you probably forgot. Who do you brush your teeth for? Everybody, yeah. Yeah, anybody around you, right? 10-foot radius, or yourself, right? What do you do when you brush your teeth? Guys, these are not hard questions. Still not a hard question. It's the same question. What do you do when you brush your teeth? What do you do to them? You clean them. When you brush, you clean your teeth, guys. Right? Where do you brush your teeth? Welcome to the Nike Clinic. What? Over a sink. That's the first time I ever heard over the sink. Usually people say bathroom. Sink could be the kitchen, could be wherever. I love it. Right? When do you brush your teeth? First thing in the morning, night. Why do you brush your teeth? Well, yeah, you clean them. Hygiene, right? Maybe other people. Why do you do it? Just to make sure your hygiene's all right. And how do you do it? Back and forth, up and down. Everybody has different ways. Electric toothbrush, mild, stiff, hard, easy, whatever it is, right? Recessions, non-recessions, Sensodyne, Crest, AIM, whatever it is. We just took something you do every day, and we just define it. So when you look at your program, my challenge to all of you is look at your program or look at your wide out room today or whatever you're doing. And I want you to be able to say to yourself, who are we? What do we do every day? Where are we headed? When are we going to get there? Why do we do what we do and how are we doing it? And if you can't answer those questions, neither can your players. So when you define it, we define ourselves as who are we? We're family. Forget about me, I love you. Literally, our program is not about me, it's not about them. It's when you're looking at yourself, it's not about me. Forget about me, I love you. I mean, I sacrifice for you. That's why our program has always been so successful. Because it's not about the individual. Am I a little bit flamboyant? Am I a little bit energetic? Am I a little bit loud? Yeah, that doesn't mean that you're anything. That just means that's my personality. That doesn't mean you're arrogant. That doesn't mean you're cocky. That just means I have a lot of confidence in myself. Because volume reflects confidence. I'm confident. I'm not allowed to lie about that. I'm a confident guy. That doesn't mean you're a jerk. And you better be confident in your culture. What do? We row the boat. We row the boat. What does our culture do? We row the boat. Our oars stay in the water, they don't come out. Our boat continues to get bigger with more people in it, and we're taking people farther. And then we're looking at our compass with the people we surround ourselves with, and we're going places. And if people don't want to be in our boat, so be it. Because our dreams, our vision's so big that it scares everybody. It does. It freaks people out. It makes people jealous. It makes people envious. It makes people mad. It makes people uncomfortable. Well, yeah, that's why I'm here. We haven't won a championship in 53 years. Yeah. You better have something different. Fast. So when you look at yourself, where are we headed to success? We define winning as peace. Think about that for a second. Winning is peace. So when you get fired, and your wife says, don't worry, Hunter, you were successful, and you're sitting there going, no, I wasn't. You said, oh, look at my record. Well, do you have peace that you did everything you could to be the best you could be? And did you change your best every day? And if you did, then you did everything you could. There's circumstances we all can't change. That's success. Success is peace. We chase peace, not comfort, peace. We all have that feeling of peace at times. We all know what that feels like. That is like the ultimate feeling in sport. Hard to find as a head coach or a high school coach. Hard to find with all the pressure we all have on each other. But pressure is earned. If you feel pressure, that means you're doing something worthwhile. There's millions of people who go through life and never feel the sense of pressure. We train pressure every day. In the weight room, we stop the weight room 4 times in the middle of the lift. You come watch us work out. We're in the lifts from rack to rack. From the side of the weight room, they have to sprint. When you see our weight room, it's like this. Everybody doing different things. It is an hour and 20 minutes of chaotic movement. That's just the way we are. We stop weight room 4 times and we immediately have a contest between 2 players. Pull-up contest, plate holds, barbell holds, planks, whatever it is. I mean, we have hundreds of them. And we say, hey, Johnny over here, Tommy over here. Whoever they Tommy win, go over here. Whoever they Johnny win's going to win over here. Go. And you do as many pull-ups as you can, and you compete. Called competing with each other, not against. It trains them to understand that immediate hurt. I got called out. Oh, shit. Okay, I got to do what? Against him? Oh, they picked me? Oh, they didn't pick me over here? Oh, God. And now you have to have pressure on you, and now you have to perform. And now you're able to find out the whole team's watching those two compete with each other. You want to create competition? You want to create culture fast? You want to create pressure? That's how you do it. And you train it before you get to the season. We're ranked in the top 25 already. Wow, that was fast. So we've already started training pressure now because that's what they're going to feel. There was no pressure last year or the year before. But now there's expectation pressure. If you're not preparing for that and you don't know where you're headed and you're not chasing that piece, then when you get there in September, guys, they're gonna flunk. Failing is growth, failure is quit. There's going to be guys that lose that contest, but I want to see them respond. And I want to see them fail and grow. When are we going to do it? Now. If my watch hit a perfect watch, every one of those numbers would say now. That's how my life works. Imagine being my wife. Everything I say is now. Hey, oh, look at it. It's 10 to now. That's the way I work. I don't say we're going to do it tomorrow. We're going to do it now. We're going to change our best now, or we'll be better now than we were then. And then now becomes then. We're going to be better now. It's almost a little bit of a complex. But when you have that complex of now, you have to celebrate the highs. We celebrate probably more than any team in the country. I mean, our players, we celebrated our GPA. We have the record highest GPA in the history of our program 3 straight semesters. We have a 3.20 GPA as a Reed head football program in the Big Ten. We went to the Jay-Z Beyonce concert and celebrated our semester. Our players called it the Beyonce concert. But again, why did we go to the Beyonce concert? Yes, it was a reward, but then we had a whole lesson plan the next day to teach them about pressure and expectation. I said, guys, why'd we go there? Because she's good looking, or he's cool, or she's hot, or it was awesome. No. You see, if Beyonce came out in a snowsuit, and that was it, and she stumbled all over her feet, and she had a gargle in her throat, she couldn't sing really pretty, would you be happy? No, coach, I mean, she's the best. Yeah. I think she's just the best because she's the best. If Jay-Z came out and forgot all the words to Holy Grail, do you really think you would have been like, yeah? No, you would have been pissed. Well, when you drop the ball, people in the stands are pissed. They paid like to go to the Jay-Z Beyonce concert, and you didn't perform, bro. Oh, I get it. See, it's your job as an educator to find cultural ways to teach lifetime lessons. I cannot take them to the Elton John concert and get the same teaching as I could if I took them to Jay-Z and Beyonce and then said the same thing. So it's your job to find cultural ways to teach those lifetime lessons that you want your culture to be driven by. Why do you do what you do? It's got to be your core values in that category, whatever they are. And then how you're going to do it, always attacking, never full, is what we call it necktie. Then this hype. See, you got people, vision, and then you go to work. That's all hype. Because again, there's no what yet. There's no result. There's no measurable yet. There's no data. There's no information. There's not a number. There's not a win or a loss. See, the one thing in the weight room is there's always a win or a loss then, right now. And now you know how much work you have to do and go back through the cycle again. But the result is just data and information. That's all we define a win or a loss as. So when we come in the next day, we talk about, all right, put the data and the results, or data and the information up. We don't say, hey, put the win or the loss of the game up. We just want the result. We want the data and the information. Give me the data. It's how you talk about your program and the words you use in it is how they're going to look. Okay? There's a key statistic, and I'll give you this one. This one's tremendous. 78% of the time, oh, we're getting pulled off. 78% of the time, okay? 78% of the games are won. This is over the last 50 years, college football and National Football League. 78% of the time. When you win the turnover battle, when you win the missed tackle battle, Okay? And you win the explosive play battle. There's also another one in there in yellow punt. If you can get somebody to punt from inside their 4, okay? If you do all those things, you are going to win almost 80% of the time. Okay? Now, we chart missed tackles. That means our offensive running backs have to break more tackles than anybody else. This year, when we won those battles, we were 7-0. When we lost those battles, we were 0-6. So you better have quantifying numbers that when you put something in front of players, it works. If it would have been opposite, they would have looked at me and this guy's full of crap. When you get in front of your group, when you get in front of your team, you better be right. The information and the data that you present better be right. It better be factual. Because those kids will hold you for anything. Young people don't need you or me anymore. We already covered this, right? For the content anymore, right? Right? You're all high school teachers. How many times you stop people for having phones on there? What do you got on your phone? Or what did you send him? And they're already having the answers. They don't need you for the content. They can find stuff faster than any of us. We used to have to believe like our dad. Right? My dad used to tell me the sun set in Sugar Grove, Illinois. I believed him up until 6th grade. Then my 6th grade teacher said, hey, teacher, the sun does not set in Sugar Grove, Illinois. What are you talking about? My dad said, These days, you say something like that, you're full of crap. Look, you used to go to an encyclopedia, you used to have to look it up. Now they don't have to do that, but they do need you for the context. And it's your job every day to take all the information that they have on the societal issues, everything, bring it into your team meeting and talk about it. Teach a lesson plan. Your own teachers. What lesson plan do you have in your team meetings? Come see our team meetings. I'll show you a lesson plan. Our team meetings are 30 minutes every day. Yeah, 20 minutes less X's and O's, who cares? Because if our guys aren't right, culturally, it doesn't matter what we put up there, schematically. Doesn't matter. We have a team that's together, that loves each other, that makes each other better. And they don't focus on this side. They have this become an instinct. We do a body language test with all of our players 4 times a year. What does that mean? Screen like this. We pop 30 body languages up on that screen every 4 seconds. Or 1 body language every 4 seconds. They got to write down what they see. Because our players, they put their hands down on their knees, bang, our trainer is right on them. They put their hands on their head, boom, trainer's right on them. Because they're showing, remember, all the oxygen is up here. When you go down to a knee, you need some medical attention now. Your response, when something bad happens, most people are down in the dumps. If your culture's right, you'll take it and absorb it. If you ever watch our game, every one of our players hands the ball to the official. No matter what play it is, they cannot ever leave the ball on the ground, ever. Go back and watch highlights of our game and you'll see it. We had one player this year drop a ball. Our true freshman runs over to it. The kid scored a touchdown. He runs halfway across the field, picks the ball up, gives it back to the junior receiver, and has the junior receiver hand it back to the official. Culture. That's how you know you're in the right direction. Because the ball is the program. 78% of the time, you win that turnover margin and win the game. So damn right that's important. The response they have after the result truly makes your culture exactly what it is. When our kids get in trouble, my response to that has to be quick, swift, and direct, and bang, it's done. I'm not saying my kids are perfect, they won't get in trouble. When they do get in trouble, I will act fast. That's the people, the vision, you go to work, and then you get a result, and then you got to respond to that result, then you got to start all the hell over. You got to start right back at the beginning. Now, last thing I'll give you, Matt, can you just come back up? I'm going to show you a few books. Okay? I love books, but I do not read a book longer than 120 pages. I got an 18 on my ACT 3 times. You're laughing, that's true. And I kept taking it, thinking like, this is wrong. This is one of my favorite books on the left. I really highly suggest that you read it. It's called You Have What It Takes. It's by John Eldridge. Here's what the book's about. It's 90 pages. Perfect. Big wording. Awesome. It talks about how you talk to males and females. As a man, how you talk and teach them. And it's very simple. The whole book is designed when you are having daughters. A lot of you have daughters. She needs to hear she's lovely every day from her dad. If she does not hear she's lovely every day, the word lovely, not beautiful, not gorgeous, not honey, lovely, and describes why. Because lovely is not a physical attribute. She has to hear she's lovely. If you don't tell her she's lovely, one day some man's going to come along, tell her she's lovely, and bye-bye dad. You are not daddy's girl, or she's not daddy's girl anymore. Lovely. The men, the young boys that we deal with, that are becoming men, have to hear that they're good enough, and they have what it takes. That's it. They have what it takes, period, 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 to accomplish whatever they want. You have what it takes. You just got to pull it out. You have what it takes to get that done. Here's what it's going to cost. It's an unbelievable book. Next book, first you have to row a little boat. That's obviously a row the boat guide. You got to have a row the boat. And that is a phenomenal book. And then the last one I'll give you is Date Your Wife. Take it from me. Okay, Date Your Wife. It's a red book, and I didn't put it up there. I have it with me. It's unbelievable. Okay, what it talks about is how to be able to keep a relationship, right, in a very high stressful position and profession where a lot of hours and time go away, how to keep your marriage exactly the way it needs to be and where it was when you first met. It's awesome. It's an unbelievable book. It's about dating your wife. It's awesome. And my wife's actually with me, and she's not here yet. Well, I didn't have her talk. But she's here. She goes everywhere with me. We travel everywhere together. And that's kind of how we run our relationship. So, but these are some books, and then I think that's it, right? Okay, so is there any questions I can answer? Anybody got anything? Worry out? Yes, sir.
How do you deal with kids that break rules or whatnot as part of your culture or disciplinary?
The question is about how do you deal with breaking rules? Well, first of all, I don't have a rule book that has 50 things what not to do. Okay? I work at a public institution, the State University of the state of Minnesota, right? I'm the #1 public figure in the state. I have certain code of conduct by the university policy. I have a code of conduct through the regents, who are the actual people who run the university, right? And then I have my own team rules. I have one team rule: do the right thing. That's my team rule. See, everybody's treated fairly in my program. There's no way you can treat every kid equally. There's no way. Because no situation is ever exactly the same. And you knew, is it a consistent habit happening, or is it one time? Is it drastic where it's arrested and charged? Or is it arrested, misunderstanding? Is it not arrested, but this? Is it drugs? Is it alcohol? Is it missing? I mean, there's been instances where guys have missed enough class and said, you're done. You obviously don't value your life in my culture. Right? So, we have very strict things of what our rules are. They have to sit up front in the first 2 rows. They have to wear a collared shirt to class. Right? And if they don't, they got to wear a coat and tie. And that, I don't punish by running. I've never punished for the last 4 years, and any discipline has to do with any physical activity. I don't do it. Again, find creative ways to do it. Okay, so you don't want to sit in the first 2 rows, wear your collared shirt? Great, now you just bought coat and tie for the week. And in the team meeting. Good luck. And they now understand how uncomfortable coats and ties are. But when you're having something important, you should have something on that's, I could have came in sweats today. It's important to me. When you have something important, you dress up. Right? That's the way I was taught. So that's how I handle it. But, I mean, there's 9 million, every time something happens on my team, I obviously be with our athletic director, our president, right? Our general counsel, everything. Because we are the state university where all eyes are on us, and every time we handle a situation, it gets scrutinized. Great question, though. But I think when you have all the don'ts, some kids will always do things that you don't even have in there. And then how you handle that? And once people have your physical do's and do's nots, well, now they just post that up there and they start disciplining your kids. We follow the code of conduct by our university, and then I'm the head coach. And I have my program and culture. There's things you should and should not do under my watch. There's things I believe in. And those are very drawn out for our players. They understand that. They understand right from wrong. They get that. Any others? Anybody?
So, you mentioned you took the kids from Georgia, right?
Yep.
How do you get them, over other Big Ten schools, besides your culture that you're influencing?
Yeah, the funny thing is for us, people always talk about recruiting as about sales. I'm not a salesperson. Remember, I'm an elementary school teacher. I don't sell anything. If I have to sell myself, I don't want you. I am exactly who I am. The great thing about me is you either really like me or you really hate me. Like there's nothing in between with me. But that's the way I like it. Because I have conviction in my beliefs, right? Same thing with the players I recruit. The number one question I ask every recruit the first time they step in with me is this. I say, tell me about your life from birth until now. Go. Remember, your life academically, athletically, socially, and spiritually have to be important to you to play for me. I got an AT on my ACT 3 times, but I became an academic All-American in college. So I wasn't very smart, but I found a way to get it done. Those are the type of people that work for me. If you do not live a life of serving and giving, spiritually, you'll never work with me. If you can't do the right things off the field, you will never understand me. Right? Athletically, if you do not want to play in the NFL, and football doesn't motivate you and drive you to be the best, you probably won't work for me. So all of those have to fit. And I ask them, tell me about your life from birth till now, and it's amazing where they start. Some kids start already like yesterday. And I'm like, you are not for me, buddy. Some people start in only the positive accolades because they think it's going to impress me. Some people start immediately in tragedy, and some people, they sit there for an hour and a half, and I'm just sitting there going, my God. But it's amazing when young people start talking, I know within 5 minutes if I'm going to love that kid or not. And then all of a sudden, the kids that are for me, it's hard to find somebody else like me. So when they do find me, and they do see me, and they do come and see our facilities, and they see, I didn't know Minnesota was like this, $166 million brand new facilities, plus this culture, I'm in. Then there's some that come say, wow, that culture? No way, too hard. It's very easy. The funnel process, because I am exactly who I am, funnels people out so fast. And that's why we never have any problem recruiting. We've had 2 of the greatest recruiting classes in the history of Minnesota back to back, if not arguably the greatest. Western Michigan, we had the #1 recruiting class every year in the MAC. #1 recruiting class every year in the group of 5. At little old Western Michigan, with no facilities. Over all those big group of 5 names. And that's why we got to where we were. Because guys will take that whole experience, the life experience, over just the football. And with us, I have to work at it. We have Go for Life classes, Golden Opportunity classes, Leadership Council, Board of Helpers, which is like a board of directors, just on our football team alone. I'm only allowed 20 hours with them. We don't even go 20 hours football. We go way above and beyond that life. Which again, the NCAA doesn't talk about life meetings. So you can do those types of teachings. But it takes a lot more work, and they come in and see us, and we're just so different than everybody else. Which again, I only want the people that are for me. Because if you're not for me and I have to sell you to get there, you're never going to last. So it's not as hard as it seems when you're just you. The people that try to be somebody that they're not struggle because they never know what's coming in their program. We know exactly what's coming in. Nobody's perfect, but we know exactly what's coming in. All right, listen, if anybody ever needs anything, I'll stick around for a little bit afterwards, but you're always welcome at the University of Minnesota. I mean that. I'd love for you to come out and see it. You will learn a lot if you come out there. That's not just about recruit your kids. Remember, I have a platform. The good Lord has given me a platform of football to serve and give everybody else. That's the only reason why I'm the head coach of Minnesota. To find a way. I remember, my dad kills bugs for a living. My mom's a teacher's aide. We have no coaching in my background. I had to do it really the hard way and get connections and write letters and squirm my way into a role in terms of just kind of just show up every day and outwork everybody else and outwork myself from day to day. But if you come up there, you're going to see things you've never seen before. And I think it'll really make you think outside the box in terms of new age coaching and where we're headed in society. We've been doing it for 6 years, but we're so far ahead of the curve, so many people, that I think it's ridiculous. But when you come in there, these guys are all bought in. And you want to see an all bought in program, you come see us. It's unbelievable what these kids are doing and how they do it, and how they do it with each other. But I appreciate all of your time. Congratulations to all of you. I respect your job. I respect everything that you do, and I hope that we get to recruit some of your kids in the future. So roll the boat, Sky Yama, go Gophers. Thanks for having me, everybody. Appreciate it.